Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, as the selling season winds down, I think that there are quite a few home sellers who have homes that did not sell. So, what are the reasons that they're not selling? And more importantly, what can they do about it?
Well, Richard, I get calls on this topic every single week of frustrated home sellers wondering why their home is sitting on the market, how come it's not sold, and they're listed with somebody else. These aren't coming from my clients. These are other agents, customers calling me, asking me to help them. And I try to help them as best I can. There's only so much I can do if they're signed with another agent. But basically, it's these four things. It's very simple. If the house is not selling, it's one of four issues. Number one, preparation. If the home isn't prepared for the market, if the buyers are finding better choices in that price range, it's just not going to move. Pricing is absolutely fundamental, basically. Even the not pretty houses sell at some price. So that's a whole strategy I could spend an hour on, but basically pricing is really important. And I don't think a lot of agents have experience with markets correcting, which is what we're going through right now. The third thing is promotion. So promotion is about marketing, about good pictures, about attracting people to want to come and see the house. If you make a mistake there, they're going to pass it by, right? And a lot of people don't even study what makes a house look more valuable than the asking price. And then mostly, and most of all, is picking the right team to sell their house. So some sellers don't really put a lot of thought into it. They're like, oh, well, so-and-so sold me the house and she was nice and all that. But when you're selling one of your largest assets, this isn't an easy task. You want somebody that knows what they're doing. Now, some homes will sell at a certain price. Every home has a price. I've handled 200 repossessed homes, many of which were distressed. They all sold, and they all sold pretty quick because they know how to do it. But they have to be priced very aggressively to move if they are not in tip-top shape. And typically, the live in the home buyers, they just don't want to do any work. We just put a house on the market last weekend that was definitely priced a good, God, probably 60, 70,000 below current market value. And all it needs is paint. And we had a successful open house. We had 38 people there in 1 hour. And believe it or not, a lot of the feedback was it needs too much work. So even though it was just paint, people just don't want to do work. They want to move in, drop their stuff, and get on with their lives. So we did ultimately get a contract on it, so we got it going. But my point is, a majority of the people don't want to do that. So pending sales, the number of sales that currently have contracts are actually up right now. They're up slightly than what they were from a year ago, which is a very, very good sign. That's a leading indicator. But we have seen the prices correct to an average lower price than what we saw at the beginning of the year. The inventory number of available homes has gone up in a cumulative amount over the past 3 months, while the average days on market has gone up to 83 days. So imagine, Richard, you put your house on the market and you endure 80 to 90 days of showing after showing, and I don't like it because of this, and getting the house ready for showings and trying to make it look pretty and dealing with the rejection and how come my house isn't selling. And some people don't make any adjustment to what the market is saying, and that's why they're not selling. And I think that's really the root of the problem. And we'll deep dive into that here shortly. The other thing that's happening are interest rates are up, believe it or not. Even though a month ago the Fed lowered the rate by a half a point, it actually went up by more than that amount in mortgage rates. So now, at the time that they lowered the rate, the average conventional mortgage was like 6.15. Now it's 6.68. And VA is about 6.15. So I don't know why this happens. I don't think the mortgage rates definitely are aligned with what the Fed is doing. But what we are seeing overall is lower buyer demand. And a lot of it has to do with whether or not the buyer can afford the home. And I check on stats every single week. So every week, one of the things that really stood out to me when I looked at the stats, just in the Pikes Peak MLS, but I'm sure they're pretty consistent across the Front Range. We had a lot of calls from out of area, and I'm always grateful for those. But I'm just showing the numbers just to give you a feel for it. So when you look at just a week snapshot of what happened, we had 350 homes go on the market. We had 467 homes drop their price. That's probably a quarter or more of what's available on the market right now. And the number of under contracts or pending is less than that number. So what that means is we have more homes not selling than selling. And I think it's all about pricing. And just so you know, Richard, I would say a majority of the agents that currently have a real estate license right now have never seen a declining market. 87% of real estate agents get out of the business every 5 years. Well, what's been happening in the last 5 years is the prices went up, right? We definitely had a big boom from 2019 through 2022. And then 2023, it wasn't bad. It was kind of medium. And 2024 is kind of similar, right? It's just sort of one of those kind of meh kind of years as far as where the prices are going. And everybody's in this state of mind, well, a normal real estate market is when the prices are going up and there's competition for every home and the market's roaring. I think there is pent-up demand built into the market overall. I mean, the Gen Xers, the Gen Y, the Gen Z, they're all coming of age. They are of age where they could be buying homes. They want to buy homes, and the reason they want to buy homes is they know that owning a piece of real estate is probably one of the best ways over the long term to create wealth. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a year or two, but across probably 5, 10 years, it's a really good investment. And so most of these real estate agents have never seen a correcting market. So if they get in front of a seller, and the seller, of course, is relying wholly on them, they believe that these agents really know what they're doing, and say, well, where should I price my home, right? And they're looking back at similar sales and saying, well, that one is like yours and it sold for X, therefore your home should be worth this much, right? But they don't take into account that we've got a declining prices right now. And if you don't lead that, if you don't get that right, it's going to sit on the market. And that's what we're seeing. I'll give you an example. I had one, I have this one listing. It's actually closing very soon. And it was listed with another agent. Of the 4 Ps, he got 3 of them wrong, basically. It was overpriced. It wasn't properly promoted. The photos that agent had taken really didn't highlight the best features of the home. Things like back to open space with a beautiful covered patio. All those things were missing. And he's too cheap to spend $250 and get professional photos, right? It's going to make it 20 grand on a commission and he can't do professional photos. And then the worst case is he overpriced the home out of the get-go. He priced it probably about 100,000 above what it ultimately got a contract for. And then they slowly walked the price down and got nowhere. And finally, the seller gave up and called me. He made a shift to me. I got it marketed right away. Immediately, the first open house had 40 people in it. And within 9 days, I got it under contract for full price. So there's a way to do this. They just don't know how to do it. And I think that the consumer doesn't know any better. And there are times when either it's a difficult house to sell or it's not priced right, and you finally catch a fish. You finally get a buyer that wants to play. One of the little pieces of advice I got from somebody that has sold way more homes than I have as an asset manager for a big corporation during the meltdown. I love this quote. He said, "Don't let the buyer get away. Call him back and find a way to get him back in the game. But all the stars have to properly align: preparation, pricing, promotion, and picking the right agent." And in general, it is more expensive payment wise to buy a house right now. So you need to hire somebody that really knows how to position the home to attract the right buyer to your home in any price range. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about the reasons why a house may not be selling. And when we come back, we're going to touch on some ways that you can make your home sell fast and for top dollar. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900. We have over 28,015 buyers just on our little database. Typically, we can find about 700 that are a high match for your home, and we'll show up with cash offers. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, we're discussing the why a house may not be selling. What are some other things that home sellers should do to sell fast and for the most money?
Well, I would say start with a selling strategy. I mean, there are quite a bit of people that don't want to go through the whole dance of, decluttering, making the house look like a model, all those factors. It's difficult for a lot of people to do that, and you don't necessarily have to do it if you price it right. So we have almost 70 cash buyers that will come in and buy your home as is. You don't have to make it pretty. And it really depends on kind of where you sit equity wise, what kind of risk you're willing to take. They may not be 100% full market value, but they're pretty close. But if you do go on the open market, I'd say number one is to price it very realistically versus betting on hope, what I call hope that maybe somebody's going to pay just because of X. Buyers are not just looking at that one house. They're looking at everything in their price range and deciding what is the best use of my resources? Where do I want to live? And, which one's the best home for me? So when you price it correctly, you don't just look at past sales, but you also look at what the current market is doing. And if your house isn't selling, it's just a pricing thing. Probably most people have gotten better about how they market homes. Most agents have, and they are presenting the home pretty well. But if you're not getting very many showings, miss the mark. If you're getting just a few showings, it's 3 to 5%. If you're getting plenty of showings, no offers, it's 2 to 3%. Or it could be a marketing problem. You don't know, and you should be talking to whoever's handling the sale on a regular basis to make sure that you're on target so you can catch a buyer. My name is Barb Schlinker. If you would like to talk to us about selling a home in the next 2 to 6 months, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how to buy your next home if you already have a house to sell, the classic catch-22.